This week on Bon Voyage TV, I take you on a weekend away at Hooker Lodge. We've got Mark Kinchley from Royal Caribbean talking about Ovation of the Seas coming back for a summer season. And Olivia's got great news if you take your mobile phone overseas. Hi and welcome to Bon Voyage TV. I'm Gerard Murphy from Bon Voyage Cruises and Travel. I'm joined as usual by Olivia Van Leerop.
Howdy.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. And Mark Kinchley from Royal Caribbean. Welcome back, Mark.
Good to see you again, Jared.
Good to have you on board again.
Thank you, and good to see you, Olivia.
And you too. So Gerard, I heard you've been swanning around at some beautiful lodge over the weekend. Tell us about it.
Yes, I was lucky enough to have a weekend at Hooker Lodge.
Oh,
in
amazing.
Taupo.
Yes.
It was a gift from a client. It was beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell us about it. Did you do many activities and experience, it's really the adventure capital of the world, that area, isn't it, in Taupo?
Our adventure was staying in the lodge.
Oh, yeah?
No, we did go for a run in the morning around Hooker Falls, and
Oh, good.
the weather was inclement. This was the weekend before last, and
Yeah.
a lot of rain,
Yeah.
so we just stayed lodge bound and totally enjoyed it. But
Beautiful.
if you are there, it's right at the top of Hooker Falls, so there is trout fishing, there are all the mountain and hunting and fishing
Yeah.
activities
Yeah.
if you want to partake,
Yeah.
but we just stayed totally in the lodge. Other people all went out.
Yeah.
So Hooker Lodge only has 26 rooms,
Mhm.
so there are not many people there anyway, but after breakfast people dissipated and we literally had the lodge to ourselves.
Oh,
I had
that sounds brilliant.
one big room and I read the New Zealand Herald for over 2 hours.
Oh,
That's my
how
idea of fun
luxurious.
and luxury.
So were there beautiful facilities within the lodge?
You arrive there, up the driveway, it's beautiful anyway, and you're greeted by, the staff come straight out.
Yeah.
We were greeted by the General Manager, Kerry,
Yeah.
and immediately welcomed with a drink, shown around
Beautiful. So
And-
you get a sense of that amazing service right from the beginning.
right from the
I
very
love
beginning.
that.
And it's not over the top, it's not pretentious at all, it's
Yeah.
good New Zealand luxury service.
Yeah, nice.
And the other thing that strikes you immediately is the grounds are just superb. You're in a mix of native bush and beautiful gardens,
Yeah.
and you're never more than 50 metres from the top of the Waikato River. It's
Yeah, beautiful.
stunning.
Oh, amazing. Well, lucky you.
And we were lucky enough to experience all sorts of little things like fantails,
Yeah, gorgeous.
not just one or two. I went out on the lawn and literally had 10 fantails performing for me just at my feet.
Oh, that's
They'd
really
come-
special.
They seem to like human interaction. They'd come, they weren't scared of me,
They do. They love humans. Yeah.
and they're just dancing around at my feet. It was,
Oh, that's fantastic, because there's so many areas of New Zealand where you go these days, because I'm a big fan of getting into the bush and trail running, and it's quiet, it's quite silent. So to go to a place where there's still lots of beautiful bird life is really special.
it's deathly quiet, and Hooker Lodge is only 5 minutes from Taupo Township, so it's
Yeah.
even strange. You go over suburbia and
Yeah.
you're there.
Amazing. And Hooker Lodge, of course, is known for its amazing food. So did you experience some of that? I'm
That
sure you
certainly did not disappoint. Just perhaps I'll give you a run through of our day on Saturday.
Sure.
After we'd been for our run and freshened up, we went down to the lodge at about 9:30, and you go into what is the reception area and bar area. And they've got a beautiful buffet laid out, and we got directed to what was a lounge area last night, and so it's a table for two overlooking the river,
Yeah.
and a la carte breakfast, country breakfast, beautiful. It was served in a big skillet.
Oh, beautiful.
Just little things that were different, and everything, a lot of the food is local.
Yep.
It's just superb.
So it sounds kind of quite gourmet and beautiful, but at the same time very Kiwi.
You can have,
Yeah.
I think you can have anything you want. Certainly
Yeah.
at breakfast you could. The dinner was stunning. It was a
Yeah.
5-course tasting menu, which
Oh, amazing. It's my favourite way to eat. Is
I have to read
everything.
you. I had this prepared earlier. It's a souvenir. But you could have Alfonsino cured with saffron and orange confit fennel. I can't pronounce the other ingredients.
That's a good thing, I think. Yeah.
There were local Manara Farms quail steamed with Canterbury truffles,
I love truffles.
scallops with squid risotto and fresh lime and cauliflower cream, followed by Southland lamb roast on the bone with crispy neck, mustard glazed butternut pumpkin, quark and winter savoury, and then it's finished with a feijoa cake.
Oh, I love
this is
feijoa.
sort
So
of-
it is quite Kiwi, you
It
know,
is.
with the lamb and the feijoa.
And best of all, for a man who likes a good 5-course meal, they follow it with a wonderful cheese board out in the lounge again, which is, I don't know,
love it.
8 or 10 cheeses, and they're all beautiful,
Amazing.
with some wine. And
Yeah, that sounds divine.
so it was a superb. Of course, it's not cheap, but we came away thinking if you really wanted to treat yourself, it is actually really good value for money.
Well, that's it. Value for money is the main thing, yeah.
And we've been ignoring Mark. Are you still awake?
Yeah, just, I've been to Lodge, wonderful place, absolutely fantastic.
Well, after the break, we're going to come back and talk to Mark about Royal Caribbean cruises and something a bit beyond New Zealand.
Boys, here for the blending. Blending.
Pretty naked, eh? Might have to sit down for a bit, I think.
Well, it seems I'm flying solo this year. I can do this. See, that is a lovely nose. That finish is a bit short. Ooh, that's got some zing. To me, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want. You guys? Yeah, happy. Just moving on to the rosé now. Might try. Nice color. This contains booze. That could, honestly, enough of this could. Everyone happy with this? Great, we'll move on. Just trying the Shiraz now. Ooh, that is lovely. You could drown in that. I think we've got a winner. Prosecco, anyone? Be rude not to. Oh, that happy sound. You're missing out. Not too floral, not too sweet. Clean, crisp. Yeah, we are definitely including a Prosecco this year. Yeah, mad not to. Cheers. See you, boys. Bye.
Graham!
Welcome back. Now we're going from a small lodge in the Waikato to something at the other end of the scale. We're talking about Ovation of the Seas, the second biggest class of cruise ships in the world. And Mark is the New Zealand manager for Royal Caribbean. You're bringing it back.
Yes, it's on its way back down from Singapore to Port Singapore on the 23rd of November this year for a season back in the South Pacific, Australia and New Zealand essentially, and then back up to Singapore in March 2018.
Now, we've got somewhere to park it in Auckland this year.
At the moment, we're still going to be tendering in the harbour, so it's going to look spectacular again when she's visiting Auckland for 5 times this season. So it went down a storm with everybody, including business holders, guests, and just locals and visitors to the city. It was such an attraction last year. It will look stunning again as long as the weather and the sun is shining.
I'm sure it will. This is Auckland, you know.
It's Auckland,
It'll be
yes.
amazing.
Won't rain ever, will it? No.
Just the whole of July. I blame the British and Irish Lions who brought the weather with them and failed to take it back.
They almost took the series back though, didn't they?
No.
No.
Now, I have been talking about food and wine earlier in the show. So one of the things that's different about Ovation of the Seas is there are lots of dining venues. 18,
Absolutely.
if I remember rightly.
Correct, yes. And they range from anything from a simple buffet restaurant right up to our signature restaurant on board, which is called Wonderland, which is based on the adventures of Alice in Wonderland. It's an amazing restaurant. You had a 5-course dinner at Hookah Lodge. We offer a 26-course degustation dinner. Which,
26?
and it takes around about 2.5 hours to dine in Wonderland.
Oh my
It
gosh.
is pure theatre as well as a dining experience. Best way I can describe it is, if you're thinking of this sort of experience, it's very much like a Heston Blumenthal experience. So the dishes are very experimental. They are quite diverse. Some of the courses are only bite-sized. So we have a deconstructive olive in the restaurant,
Yes.
which your maitre d', who is your guide and mentor for the entire evening, he will tell you exactly where to place this deconstructive olive onto your tongue.
Could be interesting.
Yes. How long to hold it there for and where to bite down on it in your mouth. And if you follow his instructions, you get the best taste sensation you will ever have.
Fantastic.
So you go from something as simple as that to smoked quail's eggs with caviar, which appears in this wonderful glass dome with smoke coming out of it, and you pump smoke in and out it comes. It's all very theatrical, but superbly designed, superbly cooked, absolutely fantastic food. So the menu is designed by our chief executive chef for Royal Caribbean, who just happens to be a young boy from Timaru who worked his way up from working in the kitchen as a dishwasher in Mount Cook all the way to this incredible role where he roamed around the world designing dishes for Royal Caribbean.
Not a bad job.
Not a bad job. And he designs every single dish on the ship, which is just fantastic.
Very impressive. Now, there's another famous chef on the ship. Well, he's not on the ship, but he has a restaurant on the ship, Jamie Oliver.
Indeed, yes, and I did have the pleasure of meeting Jamie and Gennaro, his little Italian friend, on the launch of Quantum of the Seas when the first ship came out. Delightful people, restaurant superb. Very rustic, very simple food, but delicious, really delicious, and just a very relaxed atmosphere in Jamie's restaurant. Very, very popular with our guests. And we also have an al fresco area as well, so you can dine outside if you wish, rather than being on the inside of the ship. Fantastic experience.
Now, those two restaurants aren't included in the fare. You pay a small cover charge.
Yes, you
which
do.
is
Yes, which is
still fantastic value for money.
Yeah, so it's $35 for dining in Wonderland. Now, the experience of that is, you can't buy that experience in New Zealand at all.
No.
You'd be paying around about $300 to $400 per person for that dining experience.
At least by the sounds of it, yeah.
I know that when Heston Blumenthal went to Melbourne last year, people were paying $500 each
Precisely,
to go and
yes.
dine there.
And it's a similar sort of experience, And, great dining, but it's not just that, it's the simple things, like, our buffet restaurant, Windjammer, which is on all Royal Caribbean ships. Just superb dining experience, very simple food, very much like a cafe, but you can go in and out whenever you wish, which is a great thing for families. So if you're looking at taking a family on holiday, you can send your kids to Wonderland or go to Wonderland with them, and they can, do the typical thing that kids do, which is take a bite out of a sandwich and then leave it and say, I'm full, and then 20 minutes later, I'm hungry. That doesn't matter. You can go back to Wonderland, and it isn't costing anything at all. And it's just, that's a great advantage of a cruise ship. So once you're on board, all of your costs are covered, the majority of your costs are covered. And so you're very relaxed in your holiday. You're not worried about how much you're spending.
No, it's already done.
Already done. Same with the activities. So all of the activities on board Royal Caribbean when the ships are in South Pacific are complimentary. So on Ovation of the Seas, we have things ranging from our simple rock climbing walls to exciting stuff like bumper cars and skydiving.
Amazing.
All included in the cost of your cruise.
The bumper cars are fun because I've done that.
Yes, they are. And you did run into the back of me on several occasions, and I'm sure it was deliberate.
Yes.
Me too. That's what they call the bumper cars.
I didn't get to try the skydiving, but next time we'll do that.
Next time, hopefully, it's great fun. It's very very noisy in there, so you do have to go through a little bit of training to actually do the skydiving, and because it's all through hand signals. The hardest thing to do is to get in and out. So the first thing is you've got to have this almost leap of faith where you let yourself go into the van. Your instructor's in there with you, he balances you out, and then you're in there for first time around about 2 minutes. And then when he tells you to go out, it's actually trying to get out and back out the tube. That's the funniest part, because it's not easy. It's not easy.
And
We'll have to do a trip on there and send you in there and film the whole thing.
I think
it would be a
when
great
it's in
show.
when it's in Auckland next time, we'll try and get a camera down there. And
Well, hopefully, yes. Obviously, you know, there are some issues with getting out into the harbour for you, but if we can get over that, no problem. Or you're more than welcome to come along to any other ports in New Zealand where we can actually tie the ship alongside on a wharf and just walk on. That's
now, Olivia
perfect.
could try the surfing.
Oh, is
Yes.
that the
Yeah,
assimilated wave?
the flow riders on there
I've
as
done
well.
that before when I was in Japan, and I think I'm too light. I think you need to have a bit of weight behind you. Or maybe I'm just really unskilled. I
No,
don't know.
no, and our crew will instruct you how to do it.
Yeah.
It's very
I would always just go
simple.
whipping back. I'd go down and then it would spit me back out.
Yeah, and I think the reason for it is you're probably trying to think it's a wave, and it's not. It's the water's coming at you then rather than from behind you.
Yeah.
So it becomes a different principle.
Yeah.
Our instructors are there; they will instruct you. I've seen.
Oh, that's good. I didn't get any instructions my first time,
No.
so maybe that's why. I just kind of...
So
Just
it'll
do
take you what 5-10 minutes and have you start you off on a boogie board,
Yeah.
and from there you're lying down. Then they get you to sit up, and then you sit your cross-legged on the boogie board and you move around, and then you have a shot at standing up.
Oh, cool. It's really
My
fun.
record's around about 5 seconds.
Oh, that's
So
pretty
it's
good.
not, it's not good at all. But we do have some clients who come on and just get totally taken away by it, particularly your teenagers.
Yeah.
And they just join our crew and they're up there every day. We had a couple from Perth last year who went out and bought their son a wetsuit. Not that I'm saying that Wellington is cold and windy, but he bought a wetsuit in Wellington because they were going down the country and across the Tasman. That was just so he could continue to ride the flow rider.
Yeah.
He'd
yeah.
never ever been on
yeah.
one before, and he was superb.
He
was
just loved
absolutely
it.
brilliant.
Yeah,
Loved it. Loved
yeah.
it.
It's so fun. I did it with a group of friends, and one of the guys is an amazing surfer and a yoga instructor, and he was doing a headstand on it.
No.
That's our challenge. We'll
Is
see
that
if we
allowed?
can live it.
Yes, okay, Jared, over to you. It stands on flow rider.
I don't think I could do that. My balance is not that good.
No, no.
Ovation of the Seas is based out of Sydney this summer. We'll have some specials which we'll go through shortly
Sure.
for the trip, 14-day trip from Singapore down to Sydney.
Yep.
And in March from Sydney back to Singapore. That's a very good cruise. The reason we like those cruises is it's 14 nights and you get a chance to try all the restaurants. Some of the shorter cruises.
And
Like
and
that
you
for
get
the
to
moment.
you get to use the entire ship. You know, so there's a fair amount of sea days where the ship is at sea, and they're always that's always the most important part of a cruise, because when you're choosing a cruise ship, it has to be suited to the type of holiday that you'd normally have if you were having a vacation on land. So it's got to have the facilities. That's the great thing about Royal Caribbean ships. They have an enormous amount of facilities on board for anyone from someone who just wants to be very peaceful like you and read the newspaper at Hookah Lodge to someone who wants to do headstands on a flow rider and anything in between. So that's why a longer cruise with sea days is not that bad of a choice, because you get to use the ship.
And actually, not forgetting that being out in the middle of the ocean is wonderful. It's
Nothing on the
really,
horizon, just a
it's
line.
really wonderful. Yeah, even if there was no facilities, which of course it's much better that there is. But just that experience is amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Now, if we don't have the 14 days, what
No.
else can we do?
So we can do anything from just a 3-night sampler out of Sydney, which is what we call a cruise to nowhere. So we just go out from Sydney and cruise around for a
Eat,
day.
drink and be merry?
Kind of, yes, but it gives you an introduction to cruising. It also introduces you to the class of ship and what is available on there. So you may well think, well, I've just done 3 days, that isn't long enough, I'll now book another longer cruise. And you can do anything from 7, 8 nights, 10 nights, you know. Great thing is this year we're taking Ovation for the first time up to the Pacific Islands out of Sydney, which is fantastic, in late January and mid-February. We're doing some Sydney around New Zealand cruises, and as you say, we're doing the repositioning cruises between Singapore and Sydney. And one I really like is the 8-night cruise, which goes from Sydney to Adelaide and then down to Hobart and back again. It's a nice little itinerary, something a little bit different, and again, long enough just to allow our guests to experience the ship.
And go to a couple of destinations that
Yeah.
maybe are on their plan but never get around to going to.
Precisely. You know, for many, many years, I've tried to get to Tasmania and Hobart because I think it's a wonderful destination, and I'm very interested in the history of, particularly around Hobart, but never yet got there. So maybe
Well, there
I'll
you
book
go.
this cruise.
We'll get them a booking, shall we? If you're like Mark and ready to book, we've got all of the summer program for Ovation of the Seas on our website. So have a look at that. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break and we'll come back with a special offer on the Singapore to Sydney and Sydney to Singapore cruises.
Such a gentle way about you, all around the world. Wouldn't go away without you, Singapore girl. You're a great way to
Okay, well, during the break, we've managed to bribe Mark. Here you are, Mark, as promised.
Ah.
A bottle of Vivo wine.
I thought it was a case.
Okay. We've got it.
Let's go to another break.
We have got a good deal, so here is the deal. We've got 2 great deals this week for Ovation of the Seas. She comes down from Singapore to Sydney on the 23rd of November this year, and we've included 14 nights cruise, 2 nights in Singapore pre-cruise at the Marina Mandarin, your airfares with Singapore Airlines to Singapore, and your airfares back from Sydney to Auckland, or Sydney to Wellington, Sydney to Christchurch. Starting price is $5,559 for an ocean view cabin, and we have other options on our website. The second option is when Ovation of the Seas sails back from Sydney to Singapore in March. We've included Air New Zealand flights to Singapore, 2 nights pre-cruise at the Rendezvous on the Rocks, your 14-night cruise on Ovation of the Seas, including all your meals and entertainment, and when you get to Singapore, 2 nights at the beautiful Marina Mandarin and flights back from Singapore to Auckland. The starting price on this one is $5,595 for an ocean view cabin, and we have other options on our website. And while Mark's been here, we've done a deal with him, and if you book on either of these 2 fly cruises, he's going to throw in a wonderful dinner for 2 at the Wonderland restaurant. You don't want to miss that. For more details, go to our website bonvoyage.co.nz or call us on 0800 Bon Voyage, which is 0800 266 869.
Okay, so this is just one of the cases that you have for me. Thank you, Joe.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, thank
If we
you.
get depending how many bookings we get, we'll up the ante.
Oh, so it's a cargo load then.
We'll see what we could do. But in the meantime, Olivia, over to you.
Oh, we have some news. Visitors to Rome's Trevi Fountain were on their best behaviour last week as the city started testing out a plan to clamp down on tourists dipping their feet into the basin of the centuries-old landmark. A public outcry over inappropriate behaviour at the Italian capital's monuments prompted the mayor to decree in June that anyone caught paddling in the fountains or picnicking on their pedestals could be fined up to €240. That's 375 Kiwi dollars. Volunteers in police uniform patrolled the crowd around the Travertine Basin, which surrounds the stone rendering of Tritons guiding the shell chariot of water god Oceanus. At this initial stage, they are here to help people enjoy the monument where it is at its most crowded, trying to ensure people observe the mayor's decree, local police commander Diego Porta said. Italy's culture minister has suggested crowds should be limited at some of Italy's heritage sites, which include the entire historic centres of some cities, including Rome. How they do that would be very interesting.
Well, you've probably been to some of those places on a crowded day.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they're going to collect dosh or limit the numbers. It's
Oh, yeah, I have no idea. I mean,
They
at
can't
high
organise most
seasons,
things.
yeah. I love how it's volunteers dressed in police uniforms that are trolling, just
Yes,
pretending.
I'm not sure what that means, do you? That's, that smacks of the mafioso, doesn't it? They're just going to turn up. All you'll see in a couple of months' time will be police uniforms at the Trevi Fountain.
Yeah.
yeah, all dipping their feet.
All dipping their feet in. We don't have to pay.
Handkerchiefs on their heads.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. And for those who have had a shock when they get their phone bill after an overseas trip, Vodafone has more than doubled its daily roaming offering, launching new destinations largely based off emerging Kiwi travel trends. Daily roaming, which allows Kiwi travellers to use their mobile phones whilst away for just $5 per day, is now available in over 70 countries. Vodafone has announced, having the same mobile experience when travelling as you do at home is simply what we expect today. Whether you're navigating around a new city, posting holiday pictures, keeping in touch with home or staying on top of business, $5 daily roaming means you can do it all seamlessly and worry-free, says Consumer Director Matt Williams. With increasing numbers of New Zealanders travelling to destinations throughout Asia, the company has moved to now offering the services to emerging Kiwi hotspots like China, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea and the Philippines at Williams. Meanwhile, popular South America holiday spots and growing business markets like Argentina, Brazil, Chile and Peru are also new to the offering. Fantastic.
It's good news because I have made the mistake of leaving my roaming on and Rome particularly, navigating around Rome, trying to find out why I'm lost.
Roaming around Rome
having the
to
phone
find a
upside-
Trevi.
Having the phone upside down was the part of the problem. It goes the wrong way. But then you get back and you realise that you've spent $1 gazillion just trying to find your way around. But
Yeah.
now with this sort of thing, if you know it's only $5 a day, it's going to be much,
It's
much
great.
easier.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Great news for all Kiwi travellers. Great news.
Yeah, definitely.
That is indeed. And also good news that you're bringing Ovation of the Seas back.
Yeah.
Plus a few more ships are coming in from your
Absolutely, yes.
company. So thank you
Looking forward to
for
it.
bringing all the tourists, and I hope they spend lots of money. And
Yeah, and it's not as far away as you think. Yeah,
It's
it's
nearly
only a
summer.
couple of weeks. It's almost summer.
we're nearly finished. Well, we have now finished dry July, which was the wettest July we've ever had. So yeah, it's downhill till summer, and we'll look forward to Olivia doing headstands on the Wave Rider.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
And you and I, meantime, can go and have the 26-course lunch in Wonderland.
Yeah, I was thinking more of synchronised skydiving, Jared.
Maybe.
Maybe.
With that and all that excitement coming up, we better finish the show. So in the meantime, and until summer, no, just until next week, bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage.